following segment is presented by Bulldogs Against Bullying. Our mascot, Ace, hates bullying and wants your help to put a stop to it. If you are being bullied or you see someone being harassed, do not be afraid to speak up. Become part of the solution today.
All right, it's your boy, JNPheen. I'm here for the Raspy Voice Kids, presented by Sandwich U and Shrinkables. Shrinkables! A little weird doing it myself. I'm here, and today we don't have Brandon Phoenix. He's not here, so hey, I hope he's well wherever he may be. We have Krystian Leonard. She's sitting in here to talk about the Mountaineers with us and just give us a little bit of insight on what she does. So we're just pumped and ready to go. We have a true mountain mama here, born and raised in Clarksburg. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, I feel blessed. Hashtag bless. I'm so glad that you could come on. We know you're from Clarksburg. We know you've done many, many things that we're going to talk about and get into. We know you're very accomplished. I'm going to name some of your accomplishments. You are a channel kindness reporter for Born This Way. You've had a big time book and a book launch in New York. You're Miss West Virginia Collegiate in 2015. This year, you're competing for Miss West Virginia America, which is in June. You have a nonprofit organization which helps provide children with books all over the world. You give talks across the country. For being so young, you're very, very accomplished. We think about Javon Carter, which, by the way, I meant to say to begin with, make sure you go out and vote for Javon Carter. He's up for 3 awards, so get at him, vote for him. Think about all he's given to this university over the past 4 years. He makes us proud to be West Virginians. He makes us proud to root for West Virginia. The thing is, same thing with Krystian right here. The things that she's doing may not be on the hardwood, but the things that she's doing is really helping out people and humanity in general. So we have all these awards. We not all these awards, but all these things that you've done. My question is, like, where did it start? Where was the beginning, the genesis of it all?
The genesis of it all would be when I was 4 years old. I got into a little accident at my daycare center, and I had to get stitches right above my lip at 4 years old. And it wasn't the experience of having to get the stitches that was traumatic to me. It was the bullying that occurred afterwards. So my stitches were right there in front. Everyone could see them. There was no way that I could hide them. And the kids, they reacted very negative towards me. They acted like I was an alien or a freak. And so they decided to pick on me. And it didn't get any easier as time went on. I ended up being a child who needed multiple surgeries growing up. So at the age of 5, I had to get another surgery. And then I had to get a revision surgery. And then a few years later, I got another surgery. So with each surgery that I had, I endured isolation, bullying, physical and both verbal, emotional taunting, all of these horrible emotions that I had to go through and feelings that I had to go through. I realized as a young teenager that I didn't want any other child to go through those emotions, to go through that process of what healing should be and shouldn't be. I feel like so many kids nowadays are getting into accidents, and so many people have scars, and they try to hide their scars away from people. They don't want to share the story because they don't want to be vulnerable, but it's okay to be vulnerable. And I wanted every child to have a positive healing experience. And so that's when I decided to be a spokesperson for those who didn't have a voice or didn't know how to find their voice.
But here's the thing. That's wonderful to hear. I mean, that's wonderful that you were able to find that courage, and it's terrible that you had to deal with that. And the truth is, you're not, I'm not saying you're not a special case, but this happens more often than what people probably realize. My question is, there were tough times you dealt with. When was it like that it actually hit you that you were strong enough to make that change? When was it? Because I'm sure you dealt with a lot of difficult years. When was the moment that you realized things have to change, and then the moment when you realized I need to help other people who are dealing with the same circumstances?
I was 15. I was 15 when I decided that I wanted to create a 501c3 nonprofit to help those children and teens that were going through.
At 15?
At 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so at 15, I decided to create Shining Scars, which is my nonprofit. And SCARS is an acronym for Finding Your Strength, building your character for self-acceptance to rise above the stigma.
Now,
And
say no. That was a little quick. I need you to break it down. Slow it down and tell me again. SCARS, what's it stand for?
Finding your strength, building your character for self-acceptance to rise above the stigma.
Love it.
Thank you. And so what I do with my nonprofit, I take donations, and I also wrote my own children's book at 16 years old and got it published. And that became a Mom's Choice Award winner. And so I take my children's book and I travel across the country and my state of West Virginia, and I visit daycares and elementary schools and middle schools, and I take my book with me and my little character JNPheen, and I teach kids at a young age that it's okay to have scars. And so he teaches them how to be brave and how to accept themselves.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. And for me, I read, I seen certain things. I had no clue you were at 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Talking about courage.
I'm only 21 right now. This is my third year at WVU, so it's been a little while for me, but I realize that it comes as sort of a shock to other people. But I also just feel like I'm setting an example for young people everywhere that they can do anything that they set their mind to, no matter what their age is.
No, that's really strong, and it's great that you say it so nonchalantly. But at 21. At 15, at 16, I feel like it's tremendous that you had it within you to reverse what was going on and see the bigger picture. I feel like I'm on set with our very own Lady Sybil. You know Lady Sybil?
Yes.
Look, the Lady Sybil. All right, Lady Sybil was courageous. She was selfless, and she was also beautiful. And I feel like you encapsulate all that stuff because, like I said, 15 to 16, dealing with these things and being make that decision. Like, I'm talking to Mountaineer Nation. I'm talking to the state of West Virginia. How many of you at 15 to 16 had the capacity or the capability to identify what it was, but not only identify it, but to make the change to be something better, but not only be something better for yourself, but to inspire other people? I'm be honest. I'm be true. At 15 and 16, I was thinking about playing basketball. So Krystian, like that's big time, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can go ahead. So after this foundation, after this book, these book signings, which I'm sure were just amazing, what was the next step in the process?
The next step in the process was after I wrote my book and got it published, I had my book launch in New York City at the Book Expo America. And there I got to meet people from all across the world, and I was signing books and handing them out and just meeting those contacts and really getting to know people and really getting your message across. A few people found me and my message very special, and so they emailed me a week later and they offered me a chance to do a TED Talk at 17.
What was it?
A TED Talk?
TED Talk. Now, I mean, I know what you're talking about, but everybody else may not know what you're talking about. So break it down for us.
TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. And what it is, it's like a conference that they invite speakers to who are doing something absolutely incredible, whether it's, humanitarian involved, or it's with science, it's with tech, it's with entertainment, and again, with design. It's everything that you could possibly want to learn from and more. And it's such a great organization. So all of these brilliant minds come together and they speak at these events, and people come and watch them. And at my TED Talk, they were doing live tweeting and live social media. So they were quoting me as I was speaking. And it's just such a great opportunity as a whole. If you don't know what it is, you can go online and just search TED Talks. And so many of them will show up. And mine is called Finding Your Inner Star. So if you want to go give that a look on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it. And just leave your comments below. But yeah, I was able to do that at 17 years old. And even some of my professors now, they are saying that is such an incredible honor that you got to do that. And it humbles me every day to know that even my professors say that they look up to me or say that they aspire to do something that I was already able to do and accomplish.
At under 21. That's amazing. Real talk. I checked out the TED Talk. I listened to you. It was on YouTube. You were great. You were elegant. I love the realism that you provided. I have a favorite quote. You said something in there that struck me that I feel like everybody can identify with. I'm going to read it. You said, "I decided to love myself more than the pain." I think that's incredible because you talk about physical scars for everybody. And you talk about how over 100,000 people every year, or 100 million every year, have new scars. And that's tough and tough to deal with. But I think that anybody, even if you don't have scars, physical scars, I think everybody deals with something, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental. We all have scars in some capacity. So when you break it down and say, love yourself more than the pain, I feel like even though you're talking physically, you're also talking, figuratively. And I feel like everybody can identify that because everybody has been through something. Through life, this life is tough, this real talk. And maybe you don't have physical scars, but I promise you, you have mental or emotional scars that you carry with you, things that are just tough to deal with. So when you said, Krystian, love yourself more than the pain, I feel like that encapsulate all 8 billion people on this planet, because this planet can be tough. And to be able to find that and to drive that and to inspire that, for me, I thought was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it took a lot. It took many, many years for me to accept myself and to accept my scars and to accept the person that I was in the past, that I was in the present, and that who I hope to become. And through my scars, I found my own strength, and I found who I was, and that's how I created the acronym SCARS.
To become strong, to become stronger, like how much do you feel like association, the people who are your friends, the people who you surround yourself with, how much do you think that impacts being able to to overcome some of these things?
I think the strength that you have within yourself can always be harder to find than the strength of those around you. I feel like your family and friends, they want to support you. They want to help you out in any way that they can. At least that is if you have good friends and you have good family. Yeah. You have a good, solid support system, which I was lucky enough I did have. But it wasn't their strength that helped me find my own. It was the strength that I needed to find within myself. I needed to create that relationship with myself entirely. And so I feel like the strength that I had really outshone who I was in the past. And it was really the new beginning to who I was meant to be. And I think that my family saw that, and that just helped our relationships become stronger, was because of my own strength.
No, that's really just an incredible story, an incredible experience. Because you're right. You can't, it's tough. You have to love yourself first. That's the bottom line. You have to, and you can't do anything for anybody else. You have to do it for yourself first. After that, everything else can grow and blossom. So that's a wonderful thing. So that's what you're doing. That's what you're inspiring. And then we get to WVU 2015. Tell me about that. How exciting is that? Getting the sash, right? Is it,
Yes. Yeah. So
tell me about it.
That was so exciting. So my senior year of high school, I was Miss West Virginia Collegiate. So I was representing the colleges and universities in West Virginia. And I went to the national pageant, which was held in Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And I was representing what West Virginia was and what it is to me. People ask me all the time, what is your opinion on your state? And one thing that I always mention, and I always try to share with the utmost compassion and humble pride, is that West Virginia is a state of people where you don't know a stranger. We are always there to help each other.
Real
from
talk.
The floods that happened in the southern part of the state, so many of us from across the state went down there and we helped each other. From the drug epidemic that's also happening in our state, we're coming together and we're supporting each other. We're supporting our neighbors, our family members, our friends. Right now with the teacher strike that's going on, the Standing United, we're helping our teachers, we're helping our education system, we're helping our students. And so many ways have we helped each other, and that we have overcome so many obstacles as a state and as a community. West Virginia as a whole, we truly do bleed blue and gold. We have the pride of mountaineers, and we stick together. And no matter what, we are a state of pure grace. And it's just absolutely incredible to live in this state and to represent it at a national pageant and be able to share so many amazing stories about the state that is wild and wonderful was an incredible feeling. It was absolutely incredible, and it is always.
I love it. I am so pumped. Like I'm pumped. Like I'm about to Hulk Hogan like ripped my shirt open. I wish I had like West Virginia tatted on my chest. I no, I love it. I love it though, because you go down there and you compete with all these everybody across the country, right? Every state was represented?
Yes, and even Canada and a couple other states, there was about 53 girls in each division, so collegiate, high school, and junior high. And so there was roughly around 156 of us down there, and we each got to share a story about who we are, who we're representing, who is back home rooting for us if they couldn't come down. And I was able to truly say my entire state of West Virginia was backing me up there. And so it was absolutely an incredible experience. I was able to make top 15, which had never happened for West Virginia before. And it was so incredible. It was so humbling because I met so many incredible young women down there. And even Miss America was my judge, Miss America 2013.
Whoa.
Mallory Hagan, and she thought that I was good enough to be in top 15, which was incredible, right? And I think that when I went down there, I just decided that, I'm representing myself, but I'm also representing my state, and I wanted to make my state proud. I wanted to make them, noticed, because a lot of times people, if I travel across the country and stuff, and I say I'm from West Virginia, they ask me what part of Virginia I'm from.
No.
And I have to tell them. No.
True West Virginian right there.
Yeah. And so I wanted them to get noticed in such a very positive light, and I was also able to do that through channel kindness. So that was another great opportunity that I was able to have. But having the sash and being Miss West Virginia Collegiate was absolutely awesome. I was able to make a few appearances with the Mountaineer.
I love it.
Yeah, and so he was able to shoot his musket. I got him to come down to my old elementary school, Norwood Elementary, and down in Clarksburg and Stonewood. And so that was really awesome, too, getting to visit my past and getting to visit some of my old teachers who were still there, and to bring just a positive role model, which was the Mountaineer, into the school and talking with the kids. And so it was just a really great year.
No, that's absolutely awesome. I love that you competed with everybody and you represented for West Virginia. I love that you had a good time, and I love that you touched people. That's the thing. Like, you can do things and be successful, and it's great and it's wonderful, but what you're doing, what you're saying, and who you are and what you present and what you inspire is more than what's average, more than what's regular. I know you're 21. That's what's blowing my mind. Like, we have all these stories and you're 21. But like I said, like I talked about Javon Carter and how we love Javon Carter. Like, I feel like you make us also so proud to be Mountaineers and to be from West Virginia. Like, I'm from Parkersburg. I was born and raised in Parkersburg. My parents are from Long Island. I used to go up there for summers, me and my brothers. I used to hear that all the time. Oh, what part of Virginia are you from? Nah, G, West Virginia. Did you not have, come on. Did you not have, how did you not know that West Virginia is a state? So everything you're saying is hitting home, not just with me, with everybody, because we've all been through it. And we love those things that you've experienced. My question also is, with the book signing and the helping kids with scars, whether it's cleft lips or whatever it is, books have went across all the entire world. Have you had an experience that just really touched you? Somebody come up to you and just said, other than Miss America, because no matter what, Miss America could be like, hey, your breath stank, and you'd be like, oh really? I'm talking about. All right, that's too far. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, another person who came up to you, who a child, a parent, who just talked to you and said, I love what you're doing because you inspire my child who doesn't know that anybody's on their team. Somebody, my child who doesn't realize that you can succeed. Have you ever had those experiences, or the one experience that just really sticks out to you?
I have experienced a lot of those conversations that you just described, where parents come up to me, whether they message me on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, or they're actually telling me while I'm visiting there in the hospital, that they want to believe in their child, and they know that they can believe in their child, and they want to convince their child to believe in themselves, but they're not sure how to help them do that. And when I go into a room, when I'm visiting a hospital, and the first thing that I always talk to a kid is I always show them my scars. And I share my stories with them, just so I can be able to connect with them, relate to them on a whole other level than just their parents telling them that they're beautiful or that they're great or that they can be anything they want to be. Because my parents did that for me whenever I was a child, but they didn't have the scars like I did. They didn't have the surgeries. They didn't have the healing process. They didn't have the stitches and the bullying that went along with it. But those children, and I know what they're going through.
Here's the thing, like, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're okay.
No, by the way, I always say, and I apologize for this, me and my family, I got 2 older brothers, we're all 18 months apart, so there's 3 of us. My mom loves to talk too. I always say, like, a conversation with us is like double Dutch. Right when you see your opening, you got to jump in, you know? Mm-hmm. So I apologize, it's my fault. But you're talking about identifying with a person, like you telling them about your scars. And I think that's so true. I think anybody who's been through a situation, sometimes you feel like they just don't understand. If you haven't been through it, they don't understand. And they can be as loving and kind and wonderful and your biggest supporter as they want. But if they haven't been through it, you just feel like in the back of your mind, they just don't get it. So for you to say that is big. But also, I'm going back to your speech in the TED Talks. I want to hear it. I think it's a great speech. You said when you decided you were going to love yourself, and this goes along with it. When was it? When did you decide you were going to love yourself? Do you remember? At the pool? At the pool?
At the pool, yeah. So I was around 14 years old, and I was at the pool, and I was always used to getting the 20 questions game about my scars because they're pretty large. I have a 9-inch scar on my leg and a 7-inch scar on my back. So when you're wearing a swimsuit and it's summertime, they're pretty noticeable. And I was preparing myself for all the questions I was going to get, like, what's wrong with you? Or what happened to you? And those just kind of set a whole negative vibe around that entire conversation whenever someone comes up to you and asks, what's wrong with you? Nothing was wrong with me. I was fine then, but it's still...
Real quick, did you consider, like, wearing a shirt when you went to the pool?
Usually I was just running around too crazy trying to be a kid that I really didn't want to wear a shirt. I wanted to be like everybody else. I wanted to fit in. Yeah. However, like on breaks and stuff, I would sort of hide away. I wasn't really in with the cool kids or anything. So they always try to isolate me. So I was always by myself, basically, at the end of the day. But yeah, I didn't really like try to like physically hide away at the pool and stuff. Now, and during the school year, I did. I would try to cover up my stitches whenever I had them just because of the physical bullying that had happened. I would get punched in the leg in my stitches, or I'd get pushed down the stairs repeatedly until my stitches would break open. And so I always try to protect myself. I always tried wearing jeans and, trying to stay away from my bullies and stuff. But no matter what, sometimes things are inevitable. And so sometimes they just happen. But at the pool, I was wearing my swimsuit and I was sort of prepping myself and trying to come up with some good answers or just to hide away from people completely without giving an answer to them. And this little boy walks up to me and he's looking at the scar on my leg, and then he turns around, he looks at the scar on my back, and he's not saying anything to me. And I'm just looking at him like, why is this kid here? Like, where's your mother? And I don't know who you are.
Take a picture, it lasts longer, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he was doing. And so he naturally had my attention. And he touched the scar on my leg. And I have sort of nerve damage there, so I can't feel physical touch on my scar. And then he looked up at me and he showed me his scar that he had from either an accident or a surgery that he had. And he smiled. And then he ran away. And I thought to myself, I am so much older than this child. And he's perfectly okay and confident in who he is, even with his physical scars. His scars don't bother him. And he just used his scar to come up to me and to connect with me without any words. And that made my entire day. That made my entire week. That made me realize that I was going to be okay. And so I went home that day and I looked myself in the mirror and I told myself a lie. I called myself pretty for the first time in 10 years.
Oh.
From the time I was 4 to the time I was 14. And from that day forward, every single day for 365 days of that year, I told myself one lie in the mirror, whether it was that I liked my hair that day, or that I liked my braces, or my freckles, or my shirt. And as the year progressed, those lies ended up becoming the truth. I was liking who I was. I was accepting who I was. And I just kept at it. I just kept telling myself nice things in the mirror and truly believing that I was perfectly imperfect. And I realized then that it was going to be my mission to go in and to tell those kids that they are perfectly imperfect too, that they have the strength within themselves, that their scars can prove their character, and that, you know, if they accept themselves, then everybody else can accept them too, and accept their dreams, accept their passions, and that they can rise above any stigma. And it doesn't just have to be the stigma of their scars. It could be any stigma that they may face in their life, that, oh, you're too young, or, oh, you're a woman, or, oh, you come from an extremely diverse background. I've heard it all. You know, people told me I was too young to give a TED Talk, or that I was too young to run a nonprofit and to become an author. I was told that because I was a woman or a girl that I couldn't do certain things that men and young men can do. I was told because my mom is Mexican American that I would never make it on certain experiences and, you know, experiencing what it is to be an accomplished young woman. I was told all of these things. I was told that I was going to hit all of these obstacles, and it was true. I did hit them all. But I decided to rise above the stigma of each one and to truly believe in myself. And I know that every single kid who has these physical or emotional scars, and that they're going through all of this pain, and even if you don't have those scars, that you can push on and you can accomplish anything that you set your mind out to, because if you believe in yourself, you got the whole world believing in you as well. And I think that those kids need that message. They need me to go out there and to tell them that they are perfectly imperfect the way that they are.
Now, you trying, girl. Trying. You don't know this. I'm a real G, so I ain't gonna get emotional on here, but you trying, girl. you are really trying. Oh man. That was powerful, and I love it. All right, give me a second. If you saw me last smiling like through the end of that, I was thinking, man, she's trying to start the allergy attack right now. Like she really trying to bring it. Oh man. No, that's truly incredible to hear. That's truly incredible and wonderful to hear. And like I said before, I don't know how we could be more proud to be Mountaineers. Hopefully a lot of people knew about this before, but to learn and to hear what you have to say, it's truly empowering, and it's just this is good. It's just good. That's the thing. Sometimes in this world, you don't get a lot of great news, things that like uplift you and build you up. What you're doing is just good. That's the bottom line. When you hear it, it makes you smile. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, hey, look, today is going to be different. And to be able to inspire children, people in general to do that, but especially Mountaineers, wherever they may be across the world, is a wonderful, wonderful thing, Krystian. And I'm so glad that you came on to share your experiences. I also want to say this. I want to say this before you came on. The roses in the background, dope girl. I see you, dope girl. Like I feel. Look at me back here. Wait a minute. Look at me back here. And you got that background looking all dope. So no, I couldn't appreciate more that you blessing us. Like I said, #blessed. They ain't ready for us here on Raspy Voice Kids. I'm glad you came on. I'm glad that you told us, told the state, told the world, told the country your story, how you felt. Matter of fact, plug the book. What's the book called again?
It's called Shining Scars, and you can find it on Amazon or order it on my website, shiningscars.com. And if you want, you can follow me in my journey as not only Krystian Leonard, but as Miss Wood County 2018 on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I'll be able to give you guys that information too. All right, sounds good. Yeah, so just hit me up there, or, also if you want to make a donation to my nonprofit, I'd also appreciate that. That helps me pay for shipping and handling for my books to go across the 23 different countries that it does currently, with the help of other nonprofits and donations and sponsors. So.
Oh, and we almost forgot all that. Hey, remember that. Get at her, donate, support her, but also she's going to be competing in the Miss West Virginia America this June. Real quick, what does that encompass? How can we watch? How can we support? Because we want to support you. We support Mountaineers. How can we support you in that?
You can support me by following my journey on Facebook. You can find me, and my page is Miss Wood County 2018. I will be competing. It will be held in Morgantown, West Virginia, the state pageant. It is in the last week of June. And, I'll be competing in swimsuit, evening gown, talent, onstage question, private interview. So it's really a great event if you guys want to come down and see. I will also be raising money for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals and for my nonprofit. So you guys can also see that on my Facebook page and my social media, and just make your donations there. And hopefully I'll see you guys at the pageant.
Absolutely. Get at her. She said one thing earlier, and this is what we're going to end with. Our scars shape us into what we are. She didn't say this here. She said it in one of her speeches. Our scars shape us into what we are. All of us. Well, we couldn't be more proud of what you become, Krystian. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Let's go Mountaineers.
It's Brandon Phoenix, a.k.a. I Also Hate Pitt from the Raspy Voice Kids. And if you can't tell, I am so excited to tell you about our newest sponsor, Sandwich University. Sandwich U. Why? Because it is the bomb. That place is so lit. And if you don't believe me, ask Good Morning America, who rated it one of the top college restaurants. It's also one of the top 25 places to try before you die. They're open till 4 a.m., so they're there if you have cravings late. And if you're in Morgantown, if we're being honest, there's going to be nights where you're having cravings late. We all know. If you're there, if you live there, you got to get there. You got to have the sandwich because they are the king of the fat sandwich. Hashtag fat sandwich. Hashtag king of the fat sandwich. If you don't live there, it's a great place to go before and after the game. You're going to see their name. They're up on the Jumbotron. I cannot tell you how excited we are, and I cannot tell you how excited you're going to be when you have what they have to offer. You can see here some of their menu items, some of their menu options. They deliver too. Check them out. Sandwich U, now franchising. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching the Raspy Voice Kids. We want to give a special thanks to Sandwich U, King of the Fat Sandwich, and to Shrinkables. We also want to thank one of our patrons, Jen Wilt. We thank you for your support, and if you would like to become a patron, please click the link in our bio or in the description so you can become a part of the show.